Good morning, Miss Jan. So we are still with sampling and sampling distribution. But we are already done with discussing the different types of sampling techniques and the difference between a statistics and parameter. That's why we will go or move to sampling distribution of the sample means. So in a sampling distribution, we're still getting the or all the possible samples, no? And then we're going to prove that the mean from the sample is equal to the mean from the population. Kasi nga, di ba, sinabi natin na samples are just representation of population. So, kung hindi magiging equal yon, there's something wrong. Kumbaga, para saan pa yung sample? Ba't pa tayo kumukuha ng sample kung hindi rin pala siya kung di rin pala magiging equal yung mean sa population. So, in this video lesson, we are going to use the formula of combinations in probability, which is n factorial all over n minus r factorial times r factorial, wherein n factorial is or the number of population and r factorial is the number of samples. So, para saan ba yung combination or combinations and probability formula? Para malaman lang po natin kung ilan yung number of possible samples na pwedeng lumitaw sa ating table. So, N, do not forget, capital letter N represents the population and small letter n represents the sample. So, if our population is 7 and our sample is 3, what are the number of possible samples? So, by using the formula n factorial over n minus r factorial times r factorial, by substitution, no? Sabi ko nga, n factorial is our population and r is our sample. So, by substitution, we have 7 factorial all over 7 minus 3 factorial times 3 factorial. So, ano nga ba yung ibig sabihin ng factorial na yan? 7 factorial means 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So, we have 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 factorial all over 7 minus 3 is 4 factorial times 3 factorial. So, huminto po ako sa 3 factorial dito sa numerator natin para makancel na lang natin yung 3 factorial and 3 factorial. So, that is, matitira is 7 times 6 times 5 times 4, that is equal to 840. And matitira naman sa denominator is 4 factorial, which is 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, which is equal to 24. So, 840 divided by 24 is 35. Therefore, the number of possible samples when the population is 7 and when we need 3 samples is 35. So, let's move to the next example. We will also going to use combination formula. So, by substitution again, we have 15 factorial all over 15 minus 5 factorial times 5 factorial. So, kung mapapansin nyo, huminto na ako dito sa 10 factorial kasi meron naman dito 10 factorial. You can, para mas madali, no? You can stop at the highest factorial na pwede mong makancel. But, of course, when you're using calculator, ibibigay naman agad yung sagot. So, it's better to have your calculators with you. So, makakancel yung 10 factorial and 10 factorial dito. So, 15 times 14 times 13 times 12 times 11 will give us 360,360 all over 5 factorial is equal to 120. So, 360,360 divided by 120 is 3,003. So, the answer is 3,003. And for our third example, which has a population of 50 and sample of 4, so I will give you a chance to try to answer example number 3, and your answer should be 230,300 number of possible samples. So, any questions? You can comment down below or PM me in my Facebook account if you have questions. So before we present the formulas involving mean, variance, and standard deviation of the sampling distribution of the sample means, let me remind you that I will give a Google form to answer an activity, and I will forward it in our GC. So I have presented this last Tuesday, the formulas. I hope you already wrote it in your notebook. So we have different formulas for population and for sampling distribution of the sample mean. So dito tayo magpo-focus sa sampling distribution of the sample mean. So these are the formulas, different formulas for mean, variance, and standard deviation. So kung mapapansin nyo, dito meron tayong capital letter X. Dito naman meron tayong X bar, no? X bar rather. Kasi dito sa sampling distribution of the sample mean, it involves mean. So for our population naman, it involves X lang, no? Or the raw scores. So that's it. Thank you for listening.